Good afternoon. Today I'm going to be teaching you a method of brewing tea in a Chinese style called Gongfu Cha. Gongfu simply means something done with great care, attention, and patience. So you can Gongfu anything in your life. It's the way that you do something, not a specific thing. Cha means tea. So cha or chai in certain parts of the world is the word for tea. And in other parts of the world, it's tea or te. So depending on where you live, you might use a different word. It all means that it came from the Camellia sinensis plant or tea plant. My name is Ren, and I manage a tea house in Johnson City, Tennessee called the Philosopher's House. And through the tea house, we share a lot of tea knowledge, different kinds of tea from different parts of the world, and we talk a lot about the origins of tea, which all tea started in China. It has about a 5,000-year-old culture, and as they developed these plants, as they grew this amazing plant, and as people drank the decoction from it, the accoutrements grew up alongside that tea production over centuries and centuries. And as families grew tea and tried new production methods, they maybe altered the accoutrements from which they drank and steeped this tea in. So this has a very long history, one that's unfamiliar to most people who live in the United States, as we got our tea culture through Great Britain, or the English way of brewing tea. All tea originally came from China, however, and this particular method is how they would brew a daily tea in China. So this is not anything other than just the best way to brew a Chinese tea. First of all, there are different types of equipment you can use. This is a very simplified version, but today I'm going to show you how to use an Yixing pot. This is a little tiny teapot, which is cute, but the purpose of it isn't to be cute. The purpose of it is to brew really good tea. Now, there are a lot of different Chinese teas, so you have many, many options to choose from. Today, I chose one called gunpowder. This one is called Temple of Heaven gunpowder tea, and you will notice that the tea leaves are rolled very tightly. We also have our sipping cups. This is what I will drink out of, and you would drink out of if you were here. And that is how we share the final product. We also have our fairness cup with a little wee strainer to catch any tea leaf, because it is common for a little bit of tea leaf to come through the teapot. So that strainer will catch it. The reason it's called a fairness cup or a sharing cup is because if I steeped tea in this Yixing pot and then started pouring it into cups, the first person would get a weaker steep and the last person would get a very strong steep. So by putting it into a different vessel first, we get all the same steep or the same flavors of tea throughout. Now, another item that is not required for sipping wonderful tea in the Gongfu Cha method, but it's fun, is a little tea pet. And today I chose a little deer, and this deer is going to hang out with us, and we're going to give the deer little sips of tea because it's fun. There's no magic symbolism in it. It's just a fun tradition to feed your tea pet while you're also sipping tea. So let's get started. I have already preloaded the teapot with the gunpowder. I have preheated my water and put it in a carafe for ease of use. The temperature we want this particular tea at is 175 degrees. Our very first step is simply going to be what we call the tea rinse. We're not really rinsing the tea in the sense that we are cleaning it. The tea is clean. What we're really doing here is prepping all of our vessels. This teapot is now hot. It's to the temperature of the water. And by getting everything to the higher heat that we're going to steep with, we are prepping all of the vessels for the best possible flavor and experience. So everything is now at the correct temperature. And this table is specifically designed to pull the tea detritus and water away and take it outside. At this point, I highly recommend giving your tea a sniff. Look at the leaves, see how they're changing. This is part of the experience. And then let's go ahead and do our first steep. At this point, we fill the teapot right to the rim and we start counting. 7 to 12 seconds is a good first steep for this tea. Depending on what you're drinking, it could be higher or lower. A jasmine green, for example, is a more delicate green tea with much more likelihood of burning, so you would do a 6 to 8 second steep. Give it a little shake. We don't want any hot water sitting in the bottom, potentially cooking those tea leaves too much. Take the strainer off. Pour some for yourself and maybe for a friend and enjoy. The small cup cools it to a pleasant temperature for drinking and holds it very even. Delicious. So ever so quickly, the reason that we use a tiny teapot for this method, and the reason it is more about great care, patience, and attention, is that this accoutrement is specifically designed to have a very high leaf to water ratio. So the larger the vessel you steep in, the longer you're going to steep. But because we can extract those flavors more quickly and evenly with a short steep time in this method, it's ideal for many teas. The high leaf to water ratio is one factor, and the other is a very controlled temperature environment. By preheating the water as well, everything is steeping at exactly the right temperature. Now you can go up or down according to taste. Everybody has preferences, and that's what's fun about this method. You can adjust it to your own personal preference. Sometimes I steep things a little longer if it's a tea that can handle that. Some leaf holds up to higher temps much better. Because of that, I feel like this method is very creative, hands-on. It creates a slow down culture. It helps us be focused in this moment on what we're doing. It not only creates a very positive tea drinking experience, but a way of mentally and physically slowing down. You can re-steep this leaf multiple times, and I will show you what it looks like after we have steeped multiple times, and that tea leaf begins to unfurl and open up. It's quite beautiful and a very enjoyable experience as well. I also recommend giving it a little sniff as you work your way through, because that will inform your senses in addition to the taste. In conclusion, Gongfu Cha is a way of steeping tea that is indigenous to China, but now enjoyed by people all over the world. This method introduces tea drinkers to the concept not only of slowing down, but high quality, patience, care, attention. And it's that attention that helps us make the best cup of tea. I hope that you will join me in this experience in sipping slowly, reverently, and learning a little bit about a different culture and a different way of enjoying tea, Gongfu Cha style. Thank you for joining me for this experience, and I hope you will find peace and mindfulness through your tea time. Thank you for being here.